Hey Shakers, welcome to Handshaking, where Matt Holmes interviews top entrepreneurs on one personal branding tip you can implement instantly. That means today. That means right now, right this very second. And if you need help with launching your personal brand, go to handbrander.com.
Welcome to the Handshaking Podcast, Shakers, where we interview top entrepreneurs on one actionable tip that you can execute on right after listening. Today we have a very exciting post. Peter Awad, the founder and host of the Slow Hustle podcast. Peter, welcome.
Thanks, man.
So could you tell us a little bit about the Slow Hustle podcast?
Yeah, no doubt, man. The podcast is about charting the roller coaster that is entrepreneurship. So it's one of these things that every entrepreneur goes through. Very few talk about it. So we bubble that to the surface. We talk about what's working, what's not. And we try to learn from each other so that we can live with more intentional slow.
But I thought every entrepreneur reached overnight success. Like, how does the slow part play into that?
It's interesting, man. So everybody talks about hustling your face off, right? And there's a big element of that. I'm in the flow state when I'm hustling and grinding. I love it, right? But you can't live in that constantly. And so for me, slow is about living a more fulfilled life, a more even life. I don't use the word balance because it doesn't exist. It's more about work-life integration. But to me, the inspiration, the creativity, the way that you can rise above a problem and find creative solutions happens in the slow. Like I was telling you before we got on, it's the inspiration in the shower. It's the inspiration when you're on the can, right? Like people talk about, I was taking a shower, and it's why? Why does that happen? It's because your mind is clear, you're relaxed, you're having some slow, and when your face is not right against the bark is when you can see the forest, right?
Absolutely. The can, that's my jam. So could you tell me a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey before launching the podcast, Peter?
Absolutely, man. So background in entrepreneurship, grew up in a grocery store, making $5 a day, learning how to grind and what it took to make a buck, right? And then fast forward, going through mechanical engineering school, starting a company in e-commerce in 2000, very early. And I still have that business. It's an automotive sector. Started another e-com business that's a mission-based snack food company, and about 9 months ago. And so I've got a lot of e-commerce experience. I love the transaction, and it probably takes me back, starting in the grocery store. It's like I buy it for $1, I sell it for $2. I love that. And selling candy in the middle school hallways. I just love that transaction. And so having that e-commerce background, having those businesses that can then fund passion projects like the podcast.
Very exciting. So with the podcast being your newest endeavor, where do you see it about a year from today?
It's all about growing that personal brand and being able to take the platform that is podcasting, that is blogging, and being able to really affect and implement some change in society, right? And so for me, if I can get someone to listen, that's the first win. And then after that, it's like, can I have them take actionable steps towards implementing slowness in their life, right? And maybe it's through the Slow Hustle Band that we just launched. Maybe it's through a course. Maybe it's through a mastermind. I'm not sure exactly where that's going to go, but all of it with the same end goal, which is taking what you're listening to, stop being a spectator, get in the game of implementing real intentional slowness in your life.
Implement that slowness, Shakers. All right, Peter, so let's go ahead and talk about personal branding a little bit. You've already mentioned it, but I got to ask, obviously when you launch a podcast, you're taking your personal brand seriously. You're bringing in people that you look up to, you're interviewing them, you're trying to find the best tips, you're putting yourself out there. Could you tell me a little bit about if that was the first time you started taking your personal brand serious, or if it happened a little bit before then?
It happened by accident at first. And I've been in Iowa, right in the middle of nowhere for 9 years. And there was about 3 years ago where I decided I cannot function in isolation anymore. And so I got inspired to do what I call windshield time. Getting in the car, it's a big state with only 3 million people. And so it's like, I'm going to get in the car. And I'm going to do the rounds, and I'm going to appear to be everywhere. And I did it first for myself because I'm like, I got to get out. I can't operate like this. I need to be supported by other founders. And in that, accidentally created a brand, right? And the guy that appeared to be everywhere. And then from that, launched a podcast in which you can have this platform so that I can brand myself. And no matter what I'm doing, I still have this overarching umbrella, if you call it, of an organization that is just me.
Tell me more about that.
We're using what we're learning here today, right? This is what we're learning in at Podcast Movement, right? And so the thing about it is like, and I'll give a real tangible example. in the automotive business, I am what's called a WD, right? So I'm buying product from a brand and I'm selling it. And I'm creating an audience. I'm creating awareness around somebody else's product. And that's okay, right? Until you get kicked in the nuts. And what I mean by that is like somebody piggybacks off of your hard work and they're making sales that are happening because of your hard work. And I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of doing that. I want to build my brand because nobody can take your brand, right? So for the listener, it's like you build your brand, you build your specific angle and what you're about and what makes you so important. Nobody can take that from you, right? And so for me, that was one of these revelations was like, shit, I should have been doing this for a long time. I need to be building awareness for myself. Now, can you sell products that are somebody else's products? Sure, right? But in the snack food business, one of the inspirations was I want a mission-based business, which is what the company is. But then I also want a brand that I control. That's mine. That's ours, right? Me and my co-founder. That then nobody can take from us. Like, this is ours. This is what we're doing. This is what we're about. We're putting a lot of energy into that. We're putting a lot of energy into my brand. And that's yours, man.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of networking tips in there too, Peter. When you build your personal network, that's something no one can take away from you. Just like, let's see, my parents used to tell me education, it's something no one can take away from you. But I really look at that as, hey, the network you build while going to school is something no one can take away from you. So that's a really good tip on kind of creating and owning your niche, but you do have to start putting yourself out there. So for those of us who don't necessarily host a podcast to launch and really blow up our personal brand, what's a really simple, actionable tip that the Shakers could implement right after listening to this episode?
I'm going to snag something that a very, very early on podcast guest told me. So Arel Moody, the guy is amazing. He has a podcast called Art of Likeability. Check it out. But he does something called phoebook roulette. And I see this as networking. I see this as also as branding, building relationships. It's all the same. He'll pick up his phone, same time every week, right? So it's scheduled so you don't forget to do it and let life get in the way. He does a hard scroll in the contacts list. Wherever it lands, he'll call or text that person and say, hey, thinking about you, hope you're doing well. What's one thing that I can do to help you right now? Right? And if you do that consistently over and over, whether it's once a week or twice a week or once a month, whatever your cadence is, you become that guy or gal that is genuinely interested in what somebody's working on and really wants to help, nothing in return, right? So you and I have talked about it, and that is the common thread. It's like genuinely give a damn about the person you're talking to. Look them in the eye, right? If you're face to face, listen well, look for ways to help with nothing in return, right? Everybody talks about it. And someone that's listening right now is probably thinking, I've heard this shit over and over and over again. Yeah, you have. But have you done it?
Yeah, absolutely. What a great example of how to execute and take action today on the pay it forward mindset that all successful entrepreneurs have found at some point or another. When I interviewed billionaire John Paul DeJoria on the video series, he told me that you have to pull over to help that person on the side of the road immediately. Because most people are going to drive right past them and say, you know what, next time I'll pull over. But that's not the way to do it. So there's your action item, Shakers. Pull out your phone right now. Frickin' pull it out right now. Did you pull it out yet? And scroll through your phone book, find someone at random, and text them, how can I help you today? What's something that'll add value to your bottom line? Don't expect anything in return. This is just you because, let's see, we're here at Podcast Moon. We actually heard John Lee Dumas say, quote an Einstein quote, which is you want to become a person of value, not a person of success. But of course that follows. Or wait. Try not, it's like a fancy quote I can't recite. But anyway, Peter, if we want to find you online, where's the best place to do so?
You can email me directly. I'm super accessible. So it's peter@slowhustle.com. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram. Reach out. I'd love to help.
Peter@slowhustle.com. Shakers, thank you so much for tuning in to the Handshaking Podcast. There's a shit ton of free content out there, and I really appreciate you spending time with Peter and me today. So we'll see you guys later. Peace.
Whoa, Shakers. There it is. Take action today and keep up with the hustle. Don't forget to check out handbrander.com. And on behalf of Matt and the entire Handshaking team, thank you for listening. I love you.